to get the output. There you go. So from a simple form, right? Now we have used the Bootstrap 5 to then change it, right? So we can try to test negative number, for example, like -5, and see it works, right? So we already added that checks in. The input might be positive and greater than 0. We can also test the other bound, like 4,000, because 399 is our upper bound. They say, oh, it cannot exceed more than 399, right? Let's try to see how does 399 looks like, right? Convert it. This is how it looks like in Roman numerical format. You could go and validate it if you want to, and then you can try to find what does 67, what it looks like, right? So, yeah, you can see that I'm not even writing any code, but I do read the code and review the code. This is where the value add comes in, right? You can type, accept, approve, whatever you want, but I did kind of like read through the code, and now I understand, right? My system, my website now is using Bootstrap 5, for example. It's using Jinja 2 syntax, for example, right? It exactly improved my upper bound, lower bound to 0, like less than 0, and then 399, right? If I didn't read, I would have known what's going on in my system. But because I do read it, I know exactly what's going on, right? So this is the key point, right? You can leave the coding to the agent, but you need to know what's happening to your system and what the agent trying to do to your system, right? Right, so don't worry about it, because different time it will actually change the code differently and so on. Okay, right. So there's also error handling. We probably did it already, right? We're gonna skip ahead and see is there any one, right? Convert one to verify the error page. Okay, let's just try to go through with that by typing that in. So I'm gonna go back here and then implement error handling to display an error page when issue occur, right? So it will go ahead and create a new page that will actually display when there's any error. So you can see it's gonna say, hey, I'm gonna create this error.html file, and then I know this syntax are Jinja 2 syntax. At the same time, I'm comfortable with all these card and test mutant and everything. So I just say allow creation. It will then go and create the code. And then, it will update it if there's any other ways I need to update. Like for example, you can see here, if request.get is a number, blah, blah, blah. If there's like not a number or 404, I'm gonna show error.html, right? So any 404 error or 400 errors, something like that, it will show errors, right? I'm gonna say, okay, go ahead and do that, right? Then let's see what's the next step from here. It's refactoring the backend, all right? Okay, so now it's actually trying to change the text domain py, because we just changed our main.py and our test should reflect the updated code. We're gonna say accept this code, and then it will then go and accept it, right? You can see now, because we already updated our test cases, our main.py and everything, it also want to start testing the unit test again to make sure every single changes that we made is actually not breaking the code, right? So they say it's gonna run this code again to start the server, right? And then it will test to see is there any non-existent, right? To be able to see whether that actually saved the issues or not. Okay, so at this point, I'm quite comfortable with how Agents is handling my code, right? And you can see that because we added new stuff in, it's now running 11 tests, right? And then everything is passing, right? You can also see now we have the dedicated error template, right? Now we have this display of 400, 404, 500 in the title, descriptive message, and so on, right? Yeah, so let's see what they have. Okay, now is the time for you to refactor the backend, right? And the goal is, so we're gonna use the Go setting, so /Go to request all this memory and creating the page, right? So now is to kind of like make use of all this backend to be able to produce, right? So you can do it directly here. It's not blocking anything. But at the same time, if you do feel like to stop the process from here, like running process from here, you can go back and stop it from the task, right? You can just say task and then kill the process, right? Then it's gone. Then you just escaped. Then you come out from the task. Now our goal is to store requests in the memory, create a page to display the conversion history, add links to all the page to view the history. So if you pressed it, it would then start creating pages again, right? You don't need to review the pages, what they're trying to do. At the same time, because you change the code, it would then go ahead and create new tests, right? So you can see from here, it's going to have a history, going to start increasing or like adding in navigation bar, right? You can see navigation bar to go. So because I know HTML, I can read this code and then I know exactly what they're trying to do, right? I would say, okay, go ahead and like improve my base.html. And now it's requesting the code. There's a history.html. I want to include this thing. Are you okay with that? Let's do that, right? And we are expanding our code base a little bit, right? We started just by downloading someone else's code. Then we are modifying it, and we are adding test cases. We are finding out edge test cases to figure out what to fix. At the same time, now we are even keeping track of the history, right? So we came quite far from just using someone else's code to making the code like ours, right? We are modifying it using different library. At the same time, we are trying to understand what kind of changes are they trying to do. You can see it's also updating the dot string. It's also adding new test cases, right? So we have done a lot of work here, right? But within an hour, right? From just having random piece of library, a code with like 2 Python files, into having a full-fledged website with so many HTML pages, so many test cases now. Like we have now 11 or 12 test cases. At the same time, we produce the error messaging correctly. We have the upper bound, lower bound to test. We have a dedicated error HTML page to go through and so on, right? And now we also have the history, which is quite interesting, right? Yeah, so I would say there's a lot of things that you can explore with Gemini, Anti-Gravity CLI, and of course using Gemini models. But we do not have time left to cover the rest of the capabilities and exciting things, right? So take your time, go through it one by one to fully understand what's capable and think about how you can actually integrate this kind of capability in your line of work, right? Maybe just to write test cases, maybe just to modify your code, maybe just to create a documentation, maybe just to create a web page, maybe just to add a new features, maybe just want to see how you can improve your code further and things like that. Try to think in architecture mind and then use the AI to help you do the job a lot faster and productive. With that, I'm going to end this session. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. that, everyone? One lab walkthrough down. Woo!
Yes, you did such a great job, Tuya. And it's so impressive to see how much friction anti-gravity removes from the engineering process. Seeing it handle document generation, unit test in real time, it really shows how the agentic area is going to make the developer much more productive.
Definitely, right? Like I was going through plan mode, gold mode, different kind of prompts, using it just for one file, unit tests and everything, right? But of course, it's like so many things within 1 hour. So the audience, if you feel the pace is a bit fast, remember the classroom stay open for 2 weeks and you have 8 hours to complete this lab. So, and you can also rewatch whatever that we went through on demand after today's instruction wrap up.
Plus, you can take up to 5 attempts to complete the labs, so you can earn that Critically badge.
Yeah, Catherine, we also pop up a little bit of audience poll questions, right? When our rooms were introducing anti-gravity. So shall we take a look at how everyone responded the poll?
Let's do it.
All right, so the question that we ask is, which developer task take up the most of your time in your current workflow where an agentic AI tools like anti-gravity could help?
For me, I always find reading the existing and legacy code base would take most of the time because it's so complicated. It will have tens of thousands of files and so many bugs. It's definitely my pain point.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I don't really like to write documentation, so I would go with documentation, right? So, but there's no right or wrong answer, right?
Yeah,
It's more like an opinion kind of thing.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh wow, a lot of people think same like you. Right, but yeah, we kind of diverse in a way, right? So
and interestingly, lots of people thinking refactoring the front end and back end code is also time consuming.
Yeah, of course, sometimes I don't know how to design my website, so I will want the AI to help me propose some ideas, and then okay, it looks good, let's accept this one.
Yeah,
yeah, something like that. So yeah, let's continue with the show.
Yes, okay, of course. So we are going to take a quick breath now. And if you're joining us, you can use this time to get your classroom account set up. Everyone else, stretch your legs, and we will be back in a few minutes for Lab 2, where we move from Google Workspace Studio. So see you shortly.
Hello and welcome back from the break. Hi, I'm Swapnil. I'm a customer engineer for Google Workspace and I lead technical pre-sales conversation with organizations who are looking to transform their workforce with the power of Gemini and Google Workspace. Thank you all for joining. So today we are going to say goodbye to eBill workload. This awesome new lab, Automate with Google Workspace Studio, shows you how AI generated variables to seamlessly connect your apps and build smart and real-time workflows. Now, before we dive into the exciting part, let's make sure everyone is properly able to log in into the classroom environment. So if you registered today before 10 a.m. Singapore time, you've already been added to the classroom. Sign in at explore.quicklabs.com. You may need to set up the classroom account if you have not already done so. But if you have registered after 10 a.m. today, follow these steps. So step 1 would be access the short link on the screen, enter your email address, enter the dynamic OTP, sign in to your special classroom account on explore.quicklabs.com. Now, if you are creating an account for the first time, go to the link explore.quicklabs.com and click on the join. So the join button will be the blue button on the top right corner. Now, after you sign in, you will be taken to the home page of explore.quicklabs.com. At the middle of the screen or probably at the bottom, depending how screen is for you, you will see the classroom button. That will be a purple box. Click on the box titled Automate Work with Google Workspace Studio to open it up. Now for the classroom view, you will see multiple labs. In this case, you might see 3 labs. The second lab will be named as Automate Work with Google Workspace Studio to open it up. Now, once you click on the lab name, you will see the green button which will say Start Lab, right? Before you click on the button, please read the instructions carefully so that you can come back in case you need to do so. But the moment you click that button, remember your lab timer will start and you will have the limited time of 1 hour 30 minutes to complete this lab. Now when your lab finishes setting up, you will be able to see a button which will say Open Google Drive. That will be a blue link with a gray boundary around it, right? So you need to right click this button and choose Open in an incognito or a private browser, depending on what browser you're using. And once the browser loads, you would also see a terms and service agreement. You need to go ahead and click on I understand. That will allow you access to Google Workspace. Now finally, before you officially end the lab, please make sure you have completed all of the steps, clicked on check my progress button. That's very important for you to get the green check mark before you end the lab. And now, before we jump into the lab, let me give you a quick look at what Workspace Studio is, right? Where it fits in, what it can do to automate your day. Now, we have all wasted countless hours doing routine busy work. That work would look like sorting emails, coordinating schedules, and tracking follow-ups. Now, legacy automation tools did attempt to help, but they were usually too stiff or required a lot of technical knowledge to work around. But most of the automation tools were also designed before AI changed the game, sticking to strictly rigid rules. And even some of the older platforms tried to add AI. They still force you to learn those complicated logic, write custom code. So for a busy non-technical team, that leaves the real magic of automation just out of reach. Now, looking at the limitations of the older tool, we needed a completely new approach to AI automation. And that approach is built on 3 core pillars: intelligent, simple, and integrated. So first is intelligent. So built on Gemini, this is just about following a rigid script. It actually reasons, plans, adapts, and dynamically to the complex work that you're handling. It could be multi-step, as well. Now, second, we made it simple. It is designed for use by anyone, regardless whether you are from a technical background or not. Instead of wrestling with complex code or logic, you simply put natural language in the prompt and tell Gemini what you need. And finally, it is deeply integrated. It is natively integrated into workspace context right out of the box, which also seamlessly connect outside of the apps, right? And data that your team relies on every day. So the result is Google Workspace Studio, powered by Gemini, advanced reasoning, multimodal skill, and we've designed it to be intuitive, right? Truly simple and deeply integrated into Google Workspace so that everyone can now spin up custom workflows in just minutes to handle routine tasks, heavy lifting projects with zero coding or complex syntax. The Workspace Studios are flows designed to be more powerful and flexible. So all you need to do is to start explaining what you need. Say, for example, it could be 5 minutes after my meeting, translate the action items and post them into our team space. Now, space is on the chat or Google Chat that you use. And using Gemini's advanced capabilities, the studio will create that flow for you. From here, you can edit the flow further by adjusting the steps. You can also jump and start the first workflow by picking a dozen of ready-made templates. Now, these templates are very well curated, right, for the everyday needs that you have. So you can choose any one of this template to get started. Now, with these agents or the flow, whether they are 20 steps or 2 steps, all have in common is they are built by people who know the problem, right? So you don't need any coding or expression language to create them. You can start from a template. You can simply describe what you want, all in natural language, and Gemini will do that heavy lifting for you. And since collaboration is the heart of Workspace, you can share your agents with your team as well, simply the way you share a Google Doc. So agents can effectively reason through a problem, adapt instantly to new process, tackle the most complex problem, end-to-end business processes, right? What this does is it unlocks a new level of AI help for you. And because agents are deeply integrated with Workspace, apps like Gmail, Drive, Chat, they understand the full context of your work. This allows them to provide help that matches your company policies, processes, while generating personalized content. And you can even view your agents directly from the side panel of your workspace. Right? Agents designed in Workspace are also extensible, so you can connect to third-party apps, your enterprise applications, and for the advanced user, you can also use app scripts to tailor those agents to your advanced business needs. All right, let's get back to the lab. Hope by this time you all have logged in to the classroom, you have the lab ready. So this is what are we going to do. So say goodbye to coding workflows and hello to effortless automation. So you will be just typing in the goal, and Workspace Studio and Gemini will piece everything that you need together, right? What we call as Google Workspace flows. Now let's go ahead to the browser and let's kick off the lab. So let me just bring up my browser on screen. All right. So here you see on the left-hand side, you will have the Start Lab button. And before you do that, you will have these 2 instructions. Run the lab in incognito window and use only the student account that you have been given to for this lab so that you can get credentials for completing the lab. So let me go ahead and click on Start Lab. Once this is successful, you will see the Open Google Drive button. You will have the student credentials as well. So I will go ahead and now click this and open it into an incognito window. So what I did is I right-clicked Open Google Drive, and let's open it in an incognito window. This is where you will see the terms and services. Go ahead, click on I understand. And this will bring up Google Drive for you. Okay. You need to keep this tab open. We will need it later in the lab for the other steps, right? So let's go through this. Now the next important thing that you need to do is open Workspace Studio. So the link is given in the instructions. You can copy paste the link into the in private or cognito window that you have, or you can go ahead and type that in. What I'll do is I'll go ahead, right click, copy the link address, go to the incognito window, open up a new tab and paste it here. And this will bring up the Workspace Studio. So that's the home page of Workspace Studio. You see the create bar, you see all of the templates here. Now let's go back and follow the lab steps. Okay, so the first task is to create a flow with AI. Now here's the first instruction. You need to describe a task for Gemini, right? And the task is every day at 8 a.m. send me a summary of unread emails on my Google Chat, right? You would see a rectangular box here. You can use this to copy the prompt, right? Switch over to Google Workspace Studio. In the middle of the box or right on the top of the page, you will see this box, describe a task for Gemini. Click on it and paste, right? I'll wait for here for a couple of seconds so that you can follow me. What I did is I went to the home page. You will see this box, describe task for Gemini. I pasted the prompt that I copied from the instruction set, and now I will go ahead and click on create. The moment I click on create, Gemini will understand what I mean to do is to look at my emails, right? Summarize them and send me a notification on the chat. And there you go. Gemini has created a flow. So this flow is part of Workspace Studio. It has 3 steps. The first one is the trigger or the starting point when this flow should run. The second are what actions should it perform once it is done, right? So let's go back to the instructions and see what it has, right? As I described, you have on a schedule, this flow is supposed to start at 8 a.m. because that's what we described as part of the prompt. Next, it will recap unread emails. So it will use the power of Gemini to summarize my emails, and then it will go ahead and notify me in the chat, right? The next step is edit the flow. So what we'll do is we'll look at how the schedule can be changed. In this particular instruction, the time has to be changed from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., right? So let's go ahead and look at the UI. So on the right side of the screen, once you click on a schedule, right, this panel to edit the trigger or the starter would appear. Right now, as we described, it is set for 8 a.m. We will go ahead and change the timer. So once you click on it, a drop down would appear and you will see time slots for every 15 minutes. So select the one which says 8:30 a.m. Right? And then it will automatically save that for you. Right next to the step 1, for a brief moment, you will see that it has auto-saved that prompt for you. Let's go back to the instructions. The next step is we need to review the prompt to summarize unread emails, right? Now this is step 2, which we will be editing. Before I go back to the Workspace Studio, you can again use this rectangular box to copy the instructions. Let's copy the instructions, go back to Workspace Studio. So the starter is step 1. Under actions, click on step 2, which says recap unread emails. Once you click on step 2, it will show enter a prompt to generate a summary. This will be the second text box on the screen, right? And what you see here is the automated generated summary from Gemini. So click on it, go ahead and paste. Now what this prompt does is, the goal is to summarize unread emails. It says filter emails, identify action, identify times, or any themes that it has, categorize emails, and special handling for digest. Any emails, marketing, promotions that you get, it tells you how to handle it, right? Now this has saved. Again, this is all auto saving, so you don't need to do it. You would have briefly seen again the saved icon appear next to step 2 on the screen. Let's go back to the steps. The next one is we need to use variables to pass on information, right? Now AI generates those variables, the summary of the email. Now we need to pass it on to a chat. So what are we going to do is we will copy this prompt. This is what we will put in step 3, right? Again, right at the middle of the screen, you will see this rectangular box to copy. Let's go here, click on step 3, and you can clear the existing one. This is AI auto generated. Let me select and clear this off and paste in the one that we copied from instruction. Now the first variable that we need to put here on the step placeholder is the start time. Click on variables, click on which says step 1 on a schedule. So what I did is I'll just do a quick recap. Click on variables, click on step 1 on a schedule, and click on start time here. The next one is the summary. Click on variables, click on step 2, that's where Gemini created the summary, and click on summary of unread emails. That's it. This step is now ready. Let's go back to instructions. And we are ready to test the flow. The second part is testing the flow. Now, before you turn on your flow, you would want to test it, or if you turn it on and you're seeing any errors or issues, or it is not behaving the way you want it, you can always come back and test it. So let's go ahead and see how to test it. So we'll go back here. At the bottom, you will see an option which says turn on. Next to it will be this white gray button which says test the flow. So let's go ahead and do a test run. Now the test run would happen here, right? And on the right hand side, you will see a blue button which says start. Go ahead and click on it. What it will do is it will actually perform those actions, but right within the Workspace Studio, it will tell you how it is going to look at it, right? So right now, because we executed it right now, it shows the date and time. Then it will show the second step, which is Gemini recapping all of my unread emails. And it says caught up because there are no emails in the inbox. If there are emails, it will go ahead and do that. Next, it will go ahead and notify in the chat, right? So a message was sent. You can look at the message by clicking on this link. So all the links that you see here, all the actions that you see here will have a clickable link. So if I click on this, it will navigate to Google Chat, right? So I'm clicking on this. Let me zoom this up. And that's it. This is how you will see the messages. On the left-hand side, apps, weekdays, and here you have the message from Google Workspace Studio. Here it will show the date and time, and it will, where it says you are all caught up, it will showcase all of the summary of your unread emails. Now let's go back to the instructions. Now step 3 is, once you have tested the flow, it is there, right? You want to update your flow. Now to update the flow, what you can do is, you can click on My Flows, go to a schedule, change it to 7 a.m. and save changes, right? So let me take back. So change the tab back to Google Workspace Studio if you're not already there. And on the left-hand side, you see the icon and the name Studio. Go ahead and click on it, right? To see all of the flows, on the left-hand side, you have the icon called as Flows. Click on it. You will see all of your flows listed here. Then you have the activity button as well. You click on activity, and this will give you a history of all the runs that your flow has executed. If it passed, at each step, whether there were any issues or it completed successfully. In this case, everything went well. So you see everything green. Go back to the flow. Now to make any changes or edits, I go ahead, click on this, and again, we'll use the time field to change it back to 7 a.m. So now instead of 8:30, it will run on 7 a.m. Right? Let's go back to the instructions for a moment. Right? And it says save changes. It is already done. Next, what we'll do is, this is step 4, where we will use the template. In the first task, we use Gemini prompt to create a flow for us. Here, we will use one of the inbuilt templates to create a flow. So let's go back to this. And to do that, you can again go back to the home page. To go back to the home page, on the top left side, you will see the studio icon. Click on it. Now to take actions, you will have these filters that are available here. Email boosters, better meetings, tasks and action, right? So I need to go ahead and click on task and action. Here, you will find the template which says auto create task when files are added to a folder. So I'll go ahead and click on this. Now what the template does is, it gives you an out of the box steps to do this, but we need to go ahead and make some changes or configurations so that they work in our environment. So let's go back to the instructions and see what are those changes, right? What this flow is supposed to do is, when an item is added to a Google Drive folder, it will go ahead and create a task for me, right? Now the first step to do this is, we need to create a Drive folder. And the name of the Drive folder is listed here, which says Workspace Studios Task. I will go ahead, copy this, go back to the window where I have Workspace Studio, and go back to the first tab that we had opened, which says Google Drive. Right? So you go back to Google Drive and click on this new button on the top left. And the first link will be new folder. Go ahead, click on new folder, copy paste the name, which is Workspace Studio Task. We need to have the same name, otherwise it will not be able to recognize it, right? So create this folder. Now we need to again change the tab. Here, click on step 1 if you have not already done so. It will say when an item is added to a folder, click on this blue button which says Drive, and click on Workspace Studio Task. Right? So this is the folder that we just created. At the bottom, you will see a blue button which says Select. Right? A quick recap. What we did is, we created a folder in Google Drive. We went to this first step which says Select a drive. There was a Drive button. Clicked on it. It will showcase the folder. In your case, it will also be the only folder. Select it. Next, let's go back to the instructions. Now we've added the Drive folder, right? And we need to add a file to it. Second step is create a task. Right? So the task will auto be generated. So what we need to do is, we need to add a file to the folder. Let's go back here. Change the tab to Google Drive. Okay. You need to be inside the folder. Okay. Inside the folder, I am on Drive, inside the Workspace Studio Task folder. I click on New. I click on Google Docs, say a blank document. And here, what I'm changing is, I'm just changing the file name. So it says untitled document. I will just say test file or test task. Let's say test task. This is done. Now let's go back to this. The second step would be create a task. It will automatically go ahead and create a task for me. Right? So let's use the test run as well. Let's see in the instructions, is there anything that we missed? Not yet. All right. So Drive, we picked up the Drive folder, we set the all location. and click the step, turn it on. Okay. So what we did not do is we did not turn it on. Let's turn it on. Now what this will do is it will start monitoring the drive folder for me. So what I'll have to do is, because I created the file before I turned it on, so I'll have to go back and create the file again. So let's go back to the drive folder, right? Let's create another file. On the top left, click on New. And in the middle, you will see Google Docs. Click on a blank document. There you have the blank document. And let's name this Test Demo Task. And it is done. All right. Now the flow should have executed because it was monitoring my folder, and it should go ahead and create a task for me. Now, where are these tasks created? So these tasks are created in task.google.com. So in the instructions, again, you have this link. You can copy this link, go back to the window where you have Workspace Studio, click on a new tab, and in the address bar, paste this link. Either you type it or you paste it, called as task.google.com. And there you have it. So let me zoom this for you. A task was added, and it will also showcase the file name that I did add. It is test demo task, right? Now let's go back to the instructions. And here I see I was able to follow all of the tasks here. So once I've completed, I'm sure that I've completed all my steps, I can go ahead, click, check my progress. And if everything is okay, I will see the green tick box. So your assessment is completed, you will get credentials for this lab. All right, so let's go back to the slides and summarize what we did. So let me bring up the slides now. So just make sure that you click on check my progress only after you have clicked through all of these steps. So there are 4 steps in the lab, right? So task 1, 2, 3, and 4 are listed here, and you can navigate as well. All right, so let's summarize this. Let's go ahead. In this lab, we learned how to create a Google Workspace Studio flows by using a prompt. Next, we explored what are the options to change the schedule, right? Change the prompt to summarize your email to suit your preferences. We also learned how you could test your flow before you turn them on, or if you would want to troubleshoot after you turn them on. Now, we also learned how to update an existing workflow. And lastly, we learned how to use a template to create a Workspace Studio flow and make changes to the configuration so that it works for your environment. So that's all for today. Don't worry if you found this a bit challenging to keep up. The recording of this session will be available to you within 24 hours, and you will be able to watch it again. You can also restart the lab to complete the task at your own pace. The labs will be available for the next 2 weeks, and you have 5 attempts to do so, right? Thank you everyone for joining me today. Stay tuned with us for our final lab coming up next.
Welcome back. We just finished Lab 2, building an automated daily briefing in Workspace Chat without even writing any code.
It's such a great example of how low-code side of Gemini. For a business lead or a developer looking to quickly stitch together data from different apps, Workspace Studio is a massive time saver.
Exactly. So, the way you can do all this orchestrating, filtering, all sort of things to like escape your inbox hell is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So we have one more lab walkthrough to go. It's our most advanced lab session. You are all well on your way to earn the Credly badge. We'll take one more short break and then we'll return. We'll be running through our final lab of the day, looking at agent-to-agent protocol with ADK. Now, it's a more advanced lab, but it's a good opportunity to learn yourself and challenge yourself, and you still get 5 attempts to complete this lab.
So here is also your classroom account setup instruction. Just one more time for anyone just joining for us for the advanced lab. You will see the Agile Lab classroom access link at the start of the lab. So now, take a breather for a couple of minutes so that you are ready to dive in and enjoy our final lab. We will see you back here with some additional learning pathway that you might want to explore and to, of course, wrap everything up.
Hello everyone, my name is Chandrika Kadirvel Mani, AI Principal Architect at Google Cloud based out of Singapore. Now we are going to go into more advanced agents concepts and move beyond isolated AI. So in this lab session, we will do hands-on how to connect to remote agents with ADK and agent-to-agent protocol. So before we dive into the exciting part, let's make sure everyone is properly logged in to the classroom environment. If you have already registered before, you are already in the classroom, right? Suppose if you are only registering today 10 a.m. or after 10 a.m., then probably you need to go through the steps that is flashed to you on the deck. So for example, you have to access the short link on the screen and enter your email address, enter the dynamic OTP, then sign in to your special classroom account on explore.quicklabs.com. So in today's lab session, I am going to first go through the steps that you need to follow, and then I am going to log into the lab, then you can follow along with me. Okay? If you are creating an account for the first time, then go to explore.quicklabs.com and click on join. After signing in to the explore.quicklabs.com, you will be taken to the home page. The purple box at the bottom of the screen is the classroom you have been registered for. Click on the box titled with the lab you are attending to, and it will open up for you. Now for the classroom overview, the classroom is made up of multiple labs. For this session, just simply click on the lab, the name to open it. For example, in our case, it is remote agents with ADK and agent to agent protocol, that lab. Okay. Once you click the lab name, the instructions will open up. So please read the instructions carefully before you click on the start lab. The moment you click on the button, your lab timer will start running. When your lab finishes setting up, you will see a Open Google Cloud Console button. Right click this button and choose to open the link in an incognito window or a private browser window. Once the browser loads, click I understand and agree to the terms of services to access the Google Cloud Console. Just accept and click. Now finally, before you officially end the lab later, please make sure you have completed all the steps and clicked on check my progress buttons in your instructions. That is very important. Once you have your green check marks and have completed all the steps, you can click on the end lab. This ensures that your lab completion is recorded towards earning your Credly badge. If you have any technical or lab access issues along the way, just click on the question mark icon at the top right of the screen for 24/7 lab support by chat or email. Now let's get started with our own lab. Okay? So in this lab, if you go, you can see on the left hand side, right, which we have already spoken. So you would have by now clicked the start lab button. I have for this session already clicked it. Okay. So once you click open, you need to use the username and password that is shown on the left pan in your lab. So then you can click this Open Cloud Console and open in the incognito window. So I have opened it. Now, as mentioned before, I'm going to click I agree and then agree and continue. Okay. Now let's go through this lab. So as part of this lab, what are we going to explore? It is very simple. We are going to create two agents. One agent, we are going to make it as a remote one, and from the other agent, we are going to call that agent as a tool. That is a sub-agent call through A2A protocol. Now let's see how to do that. So here in the lab, it is very clearly described what is the agent to A protocol and what are the few concepts that make it powerful and flexible. Okay, so the most important things, how one agent discovers the other is via this agent card. The agent card helps you to understand what is the name of the agent, what are the capabilities, and how I need to connect to that agent. All that comes with this agent card. Then how the communication happens, probably using HTTP or JSON. Then rich data exchange is also provided. Okay, now let's go down. So here if you see, the setup and requirements are given, right? So I've already told you you have to click the start button once you read it, but for now, for the demo's sake, we have already clicked it, so we have given some time for it to start, right? So once you start it, of course, you have your credentials to log in, and then you click next. All the steps we have already completed. If not, just follow through. Okay, so now there are totally 4 tasks to complete this lab. Now let's start with the task 1. Okay, so for the task 1, we need to go to the Cloud Shell editor and then we need to bring the code. Okay, so first let's now switch here, and then I'm going to open this, activate this Cloud Shell. Let's give some time. So we need to just press continue. You have to authorize. So the provisioning is happening. So on the top right, there's open editor button, right? You just click that. Okay. Now let's go back to the lab and see what's the next instruction is. Okay, we have set up this environment and all this. Now we need to download and install the ADK code exam samples from the lab. So if you see, the code is now present in the cloud storage button. We are just copying that code and then we are installing the necessary packages. In our case, this is the ADK package, because all our agents we are developing using the ADK framework. And then you have this A2A as well, because this lab is for the A2A protocol. So I'm just copying this. So if you click this button, you can copy the command. Then I'm going to go back. Now I have to open a new terminal, which is part of the console. Let's see whether it is visible. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so it is visible for everybody. Okay. And I'm going to paste it. So what is going to happen is it's going to copy the source code and also install the necessary packages. So we got to give some time for this to happen. We are almost there. It's installing. So let's give some more time. We are there almost. Yeah, so we are at the last. It's trying to install Google ADK. Great, now it got installed. Now let's go back. And what is the most important thing is to check where progress is. So let's check. Great, we have completed task 1. Now we need to go to task 2. So what is task 2? We need to explore the ADK agent that we have copied, right? So let's go back there. Okay. So here, if you see after the code, you can see on the left hand side, there are two agents, illustration agent and slide content agent. Now illustration agent is what we are going to deploy as a remote agent, and slide content agent is going to call a remote call to this illustration agent. Okay, now let's click this illustration agent and see what it has. Okay, so it all has that usual import statements and all that. The most important thing is how this is going to call, right? So if you see here the tools, so in the tools there's something called generate image, right? So this illustration agent is going to generate an image based on the prompt given, and this function is called as a tool. So if you go down the code at the end, if you see, there is a root agent and there is a name for that, which is the illustration agent. Then you use the model, Gemini model, and then you have the instructions, and then you are calling this generate image as the tool. Okay, hope this is clear. So this is very simple. We are just calling the function as a tool in this. Fine. Now they asked us to explore the code and we have explored it. Now what do they say? Okay, so they are saying, okay, if you have to run this agent, you need the environment to be set up, and they are giving the environment here. Okay, so let's copy this and go back. Okay, so for clear, I'm just going to clear this so we have a clear view of this. We'll just get rid of this one. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it. Okay, so we have created a environment file with all these parameters. Let's go and check. Okay, so to make it visible, we need to go toggle hidden files, right? And so here is that environment file. So whatever you have given, created, is now sitting under the illustration agent. So next step, run the following, copy the .environment file to another agent directory, right? Why? Because we need to set up this environment for both the agents. So that's why. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Done. Let's go back to the instructions. Now we need to give the dedicated service account so that we can configure and run the application in a more authenticated way. So let's copy this to give the service account. Okay, so it's asking, do you want to continue? Just say yes and press enter. So now we have to authenticate it. You can just copy this URL, click this, authenticate, copy this token, come back to your console and paste it. Okay, done. Now let's go back to the lab instruction and see. Okay, so we have done all the steps. Now we have to locally test how this agent is behaving. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to test using ADK Web. So I'm going back. Let's paste it. Okay, so if you see, the port here is 8000 and it is a local host. Now we have to go on the top right where you can see the web preview, right? Click that. Check on the port number. If it is same, then there is no problem. if there is, for me, there is a difference. You see, it is 8080 and for me it is 8000. So go and change it if it is required for you. Change and preview. Okay. Now let's select the app. So now what are we testing? You are testing illustration agent. So let's click that. Okay. So now I have invoked. Now let's go back and see, okay, I have done this step as well. Now I need to test it, correct? So I need a prompt. So there is an example prompt given. Let's copy that. Let's go back and paste. What are we saying? By supporting each other, we get big things done. So this agent is supposed to call the tool, and the tool is nothing but the image generation function that we have written, correct? If everything working well, it will go and call the tool. If you see, it is calling this generate image tool, right? So let us give some time for the image to come. Yes. So you have this image generated. By the way, it will not be the same image for everyone because it is done by large language model, correct? And you have the URL of the image. This, once the tool generates the image, it stores this image into a cloud storage bucket, and that's why you are seeing the image URL as well. Now let's go back to the instructions. Yes, so we got the image generated and the prompt also worked and everything is working fine. Okay, so now let's check our progress. Hope most of you are following along with me. So now it says return to the Cloud Search terminal to stop it because we need to develop further. We have tested now. Okay, so now we are going back. Just give Control C and then clear. Now let's move on to task 3. Now what's task 3? We need to deploy this illustration agent as a A2A server so that other agents can discover and call that agent if required. Okay, so for that, what is very important, as I told in the beginning, the agent card. That is how the discovery happens. Okay, so let's copy this and let's go back here. So basically I'm trying to create a agent card. So let's paste. Okay, let's refresh. So you can see agent.json. Let's go and explore this, what it has. So it has the name of the agent, the description for that agent, and then the most important thing is how do you connect to this agent, the URL. Okay, so this is the discovery card and we also reviewed it. Now the most important thing for deploying this as an A2A server, so again we need to have what are the different packages that is required, right? So you have to create a requirement.txt file. So we go here. Let's refresh. Here we go. You have created the requirement.txt file. So this is also ready. Now let's go back. So now what are we going to do is we have to deploy it on the Cloud Run as a A2A server. Okay. So copy this. Let's go back and try to execute this. So what we are doing right now, just to recap, we created an illustration agent and now we tested it locally. It is working perfectly. I created a card, discovery card or the agent card for the other agents to discover. And now I'm going to deploy it on Cloud Run. So this Cloud Run deployment might take a little bit of time. Let's see. Okay. So it says unauthenticated invocation. Do you want to allow? So right now, just to save time, I'm going to give Y. But in production, you should never deploy anything unauthenticated. So I'm just going to give enter. So it is building the Docker files and deploying it on the Cloud Run. Okay. So this is going to take some time. Now let's, in the meantime, while it is deploying, let's talk about some of the cool options that we have. Let's go back to the slide. So you would have seen that we have deployed using Cloud Run, right? But there are multiple other options where you can go and deploy these agents. So one is the Vertex AI, Agent Engine, GKE, any other options, multi options are available on the cloud. Now when we have to bring these agents in the hands of the user, right, then a very good option is using the Gemini Enterprise app. In Gemini Enterprise app, if you see, there is something called Agent Gallery and there is a admin UI for that. So any custom agent that you are developing, you can bring in Gemini Enterprise app. So for our case, if you want to publish this agent, then you can choose the custom agent in A2A option, or if you are deploying an agent engine, then you can use, that's actually the recommended gold standard, right, using the Vertex AI agent engine. So the path, the golden standard for internal development is what, ADK, and the deployment is agent engine. But if you want, you can use Cloud Run as well, right? And then you have the A2A, agent to agent, the federated path that we use to register the agents hosted anywhere, and it can be on-premise or Google Cloud or other hyperscalers as well, or GKE also. Then other option is A2A agents from Google Cloud Marketplace. So this is an off-the-shelf path. These are partner-built agents. Like for example, it could be from Jira, Salesforce, that you can purchase and deploy instantly. They also use the A2A protocol but are managed by third-party vendors. The other option is the conversational path. Say if you have some traditional chatbots that was built using Dialogflow, then you can also bring them as well. Now let's see how to bring these A2A agents to Gemini Enterprise using that agent gallery, right? So if you see here, I would have put a zip file here. You can view the steps basically. So you can bring the so-called the agent card, which is in the form of a JSON document, and you will also configure the OAuth2 details. So Gemini knows how to start the OAuth2 flow. So now, once you have done this, you have to go to the Gemini Enterprise as a user and try to chat with your agent. Since this is the first time you are processing, there will be an authorize button. So once you authorize it, then it will work. So if the authorization flow completes successfully, you will see a confirmation followed by the agent's response. Now let's see whether our deployment on the Cloud Run that we are doing as part of the lab got completed. let's go back to our lab. Okay, awesome. You see, it got deployed. That's wonderful. Now let's go back and see the instructions. So we got the thing, the illustration agent deployed on the Cloud Run. Now let's check. Now, one thing I want you to note, right, is just look at this deployment. How do you know that it has to be a remote one, right? This is the keyword A to A, right? In the command, if you see ADK deploy Cloud Run on the 4th line, you see -A to A. So this is the most important flag that will help you to deploy the agent as a to A server, okay? So while deploying all these things, right, the project, region, the service name, A to A flag, and what are the different things that you have to supply as a parameter, all that is described very well here, okay? Now let's go to task 4. Now we have created that agent, we have copied the card, right, the agent card. Now the other agents or any other agents, if he has to find out, they also need to know that card. So let's copy that. Go back. And okay. So that is there. We have copied. Now in the Cloud Shell, we have to go and now see the slide content agent, the another agent, right? Now we need to make this agent call the illustration agent, which we have deployed as a remote agent. So for that, we need to do some important code changes. Let's do what is that, okay? Now, this is the one which is telling these lines of code, right? Tells that there is a remote agent which is called illustration agent, and this is the agent card details. We need to give this in the other agent, whichever wants to call. So let's go back. So in our case, it is the slide content agent. So basically, the slide content agent needs to call the illustration agent and use the tool, which is the image generation tool that only illustration agent has. So let's go back and see what this slide content agent is doing. So this is create content for a slide. And it is going to, now we need to make this slide content agent call our agent, right? So then I need to do some code changes. So let's paste the code that we copied earlier. Now we are saying what is that remote agent, how to call, but now we have to make it call, right? So for that we need to do some changes. So we are telling this illustration agent is your sub agent, okay? So we'll go back and paste that code as well. And now we have to save it. Let's go back. Any other changes we missed? No, we are good to go. Now let's test this slide content agent also locally. Okay, I'm going to save this and then I'm going to give the same ADK web command. Okay, let's now go to the web preview. Now this time I need to choose the second agent, slide content agent. Now let's go back. Now see, create content for a slide about our excellent on the job training. So this is the prompt we are going to go and test. So let's give this prompt to the slide content agent. Now the expectation is the slide content agent will look for that remote agent, which is the illustration agent, and it will use that tool to create the image. Now let's see, you just closely look at this. Hope this is visible. Let me increase the size if not. Yeah. You see it is trying to transfer to that agent, which means it is trying to say, okay, I have a tool which is a sub agent and I'm going to call that sub agent. So the call or the control is getting transferred to the sub agent. Let's give some time. It is trying now. After the call, it is trying to generate the image. Yeah. So the transfer has done, and the illustration agent, if you see, I am actually calling the slide content agent on the top. If you see, you can see which agent. But then as a sub agent, as a remote agent, it has called, it has used the discovery card, found out the illustration agent, and it is successfully called, and it has used the tool that is in disposal of the illustration agent to create this image. Wonderful, right? You see? Now let's check. Wow, we have completed the labs. Congratulations to all of you who are followed with me to complete this lab. Now let's go back to the deck. To summarize, in this lab, we demonstrated the power of cross-agent collaboration using the A2A protocol. You deployed a local ADK agent onto Cloud Run as a discrete microservice and detailed its abilities via a standardized agent card. Then you securely handed off the task from a secondary independent agent. With these foundational skills, you are ready to start building scalable multi-agent ecosystems across distributed teams. So that's all for today. I hope this has actually given everybody a quick idea and understanding of how to connecting remote agents and A2A protocol. Don't worry if you found it little challenging to keep up. This session will be available on demand within the next 24 hours. You'll be able to watch it again and restart the lab to complete the task in your own time at your own pace. The labs will be open for another 2 weeks, and you have 5 attempts at labs in explore.quicklabs.com. So there's a plenty of time to complete the lab and earn your Credily badge. Thank you everybody for your attention and for joining me today. Stick with us for a final session with Catherine and Tuya on how to ensure you're not being left behind in the agentic era with learning pathways to keep upskilling. Thank you.
you.
And we are back. Wow, that takes us to the end of 3 full Google Cloud Labs on Air walkthrough. How did you all do?
Remember, you have 2 full weeks to complete 3 labs and earn your quarterly badge. We'll spend some reminder closer to the time too.
Having just spent a few hours getting hands-on, and even more clear that it's no longer just about writing a good prompt, it's also about architecting systems that can reason and act in an effective and also an efficient way.
Exactly, Tuya. And if you look at the job market right now, these specific skills are incredibly high demand. Businesses are looking for talent who can advance their AI strategy from a simple chatbot to a multi-agent system for compete advantage and enhance customer experiences.
And because the tech is changing so fast, right, it's important to stay current and continually up-level your skills. Even like, Cloud Technical Series, Google Cloud Labs on Air, they are a great way to upskill your skills and also stay one ahead.
Speaking of learning, Tuya, let's now dig into some additional resources and programs to boost your agentic skills, including specialized learning pathway on Google Cloud Skill Boost. Let's take a look at the specific steps that you can take right now. So, So essentially, there's 3 ways of earning Google credential and certificate. The simple start is completion badge. Those badges are rewarded as the learner who engage and complete a specific learning activity. The second one is the skills badge, which recognizing learners who work their hands-on the code lab with the specific skills from Google Cloud. And then lastly, if you really want to dig in and take the advancement of this AI era, you can get the certificate, which is a mastery, knowledge and skill set performing at the end-to-end job role on Google Cloud technology. If you look into the certification that we're offering from Google Cloud, we offer 3 different levels catered for different users. So if you are a business user or a leader, you can lean in for the fundamental level of certification, where we're recognizing you as the Gen AI leaders. And if you are in between, you can go for the associate level certificate, where we're recognizing you as a cloud engineers or data analyst specialist. And then the last piece is, of course, the professional level certification, where I have 3 different certifications. I don't know how much you have, probably all of them, Tuya. So you can work towards a specific area like cloud engineering, ML, Gen AI. So get this certificate, really show your advancement in Google Cloud on those technologies. But what I want to strengthen here again, and soon Tuya will show you in the console exactly what is the GEAR program. This is the most premium program designed for the future-proof your workforce with Gemini Enterprise. I hope I would have this program when I starting my career, because this is one of the programs that really helps you to bring you into the whole journey. From learning, building, and deployment. Learning, not only learning by yourself, but learn with others and the top expert from Google Cloud. They will lead you through learning all these materials, and then you have hands-on experiences to build your skill towards a very specific skill track. And then you can also deploy anything that you build in the real cloud environment. So if you're looking into the specific Google skills included into the GEAR program, we have introduction to agent and Google Cloud ecosystem for those who want to just start your journey with Google Cloud and Gen AI. And second is more for intermediate people developing agent with Agent Development Kit. Agent Development Kit is the open source framework from Google that allowing you to design native multi-agent system into the enterprise environment. And then if you are really focusing on scaling up your agent, we have deployed production-ready agents into the scaled up environment, where you have more advanced courses like deploy and build agent in production, or deploy your first agent in Google Cloud Services. And then last part is, of course, adding all this transformation of organization, human-centric AI, to really helping you scale your agent not only on the cloud basis, but more into the enterprise context. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Tuya to show the GEARS demo.
All right, so if you sign up for the GEAR program using your account, and you will be seeing this landing page, right? So this is the GEAR landing page. As Christine mentioned just now, that we have 4 paths for you, whether you are just introductory, or we are also, whether you're just building the agent to all the way to like deploying the production. At the same time, you also want to know how to scale. So those are like 4 pathways that you can take anytime, right? So get started with GEAR learning path. Just go there. You can learn at your own pace to upgrade your skill set. But the one important thing here is the Get Certified program, right? So if you are into certification, you do need to join this Get Certified program, because Get Certified program is actually a 9 weeks guided cohort. So you'll be learning together with others like-minded individuals across the world. And you will have a Google experts helping you to go through step by step to get yourself certified at the end. So if you want to learn more about it, you can click on Learn More. And then there is this page that you will get, right? Of course, when you want to learn something, you should aim to get something. So there is like a certification program that you can go for exam after you have learned some of the topics that you have, right? So this is how you should apply. You can see there are 4 steps only. The first is to join Gear program, which you probably already did. If not, then we will go through that later. And then you have to confirm your eligibility, right? So you can get the customer, or you are like a individual developer who would like to try Google Cloud. You can try to apply this, and then you can choose your track. So I will also go through some of the tracks that we offer as well. So choose it based on your expertise and your business needs. After that, of course, you will have your spot secure, and then you are ready to get on board. So here are the things that are required, right? You will need a corporate email address. You will have to attend your live classes. You have to have a time commitment at the same time. You also need to have some kind of like capacity to, do the labs, right? There's no point attending classes if you don't do labs, right? So here what's required from you. At the same time, if you want to learn more about the program, interact with others, who get into the program, you can actually join our community channels on Discord as well, right? So all you need to do is just select the channel, and then you can adjust the setting, watch out for the new announcements, or maybe some communication through the participant and so on as well. All right, so different cohort, or we call it edition, actually support different certification program, right? We have edition 1, which we just did like a couple of months ago, is about Gen AI, Cloud Engineer, and also Cloud Architect. Edition 2, which also just done recently, they do have different pathway, but right now, upcoming one is actually edition 3. So edition 3 had Gen AI Leader Certificate, Associate Cloud Engineer Certificate, and Professional Cloud Architect Certificate, right? So if you are someone who is totally new to Gen AI, totally new to cloud kind of thing, you could go for Gen AI Leader Certification. If you are a developer, maybe a fresh graduate who just want to get your toes into the cloud environment, learning the way of the cloud, you could start with Associate Cloud Engineer. But if you're already been seasoned developer who have been tinkering with architecting, maybe building your own system, managing production environment, you just want to know how Google Cloud is different from other type of application, or maybe you want to start learning more into Google Cloud to build end-to-end holistic system, then you can go for the Professional Cloud Architect. Right, with that, I'm going to cover a little bit more. So the first thing about, we talk about the Get Certified program where you have 9 weeks of guided learning. At the same time, if you want to sign up for the program next, you can scan the QR code right here, right? So like I mentioned, it's going to open up around August. So keep your eye peeled for that. And once I would strongly recommend to apply as soon as it's open up, so that you have to secure your spot, remember?
Yes.
So you have some time to you cannot just wait until September to apply for it. And then the cohort gonna start in October, right? So make sure you are clear of that period so you can focus on your learning.
Absolutely, Tuya.
Yeah.
That was an amazing program. I want to say again, I hope I have that program on hand when I started with Google Cloud. So what are the next steps I would love to share with you is, first of all, complete today's lab and earn your credit badge, because we spend all this time with the awesome instructors and experts telling you how to run those labs. Keep watching, replaying some of the lab, and complete those labs within the 2 weeks. And then sign up the Gears program and take all this advantage, and the range of resources, the community, it's all for free. So secure your spot today, now. And then lastly, you will be receiving the free Google credits in your email very soon. Just watch out for those emails and, follow the instruction to get your Google skill credit. It's again for free for you to keep learning and get participating. Don't let the momentum lose, and then, keep learning.
Right, so some of the biggest advice that we can give for people who stay on until now, don't let the momentum of learning stop here. Even though this program might be over today, but you have a lot more things to explore and a lot more program that you can join on. Okay, so we will be right back to wrap up the show in a just few moments. So don't go away.
Wow, we are at the end of the show. There's so many great upskilling opportunity available. So what's the next big step for you to take and continue your learning journey?
There's so many great paths we to choose from, right, Kathleen?
Yeah.
So one thing that I will recommend people to go through is identify where you are and then pick a tracks from the 4 that we mentioned that suits your needs and the business. But with that, we are now at the very end of Cloud Technical Series, Agentic AI Edition. It's been a fast-paced 48 hours, from our keynote to full line-hour technical session on day 1 to building collaborative interconnected agent today on day 2.
Yes, Tuya.
Yeah.
These 3-4 labs covering everything from anti-gravity to Google Workspace Studio to Agent Development Kit. It's really an exciting time to build a builder now. I hope that you walk away with more than just the notes. We also hope that you have the confidence to actually start deploying these systems and building those agents today. The industry is moving so fast, but people who can actually build AI-ready application and architecture are the ones who are going to lead it.
Don't forget, if you attend 6-7 sessions across 2 days, you have earned the Agentic AI Edition Digital Participation Badge. Look out for an email from our partner Accredible in around 2 weeks to assess your badge and e-certificate. And of course, as a thank you for joining us today, you will also be receiving 300 free credits to Google Cloud Skills. So you can keep on practicing. We'll send you the details to your inbox shortly, including how to activate your free credit, so stay tuned.
And don't forget to sign up the Gear program once more for all the reasons we just went through in our previous session. The membership includes priority access to new technical documentations, the exclusive invitation to our very special events, not to mention the connection you'll be making with the developers all across the world.
And we also have our new dedicated lab program up and running. Google Cloud Labs on Air gave you a regular schedule to hands-on lab to give you up to date on the latest and greatest things that we have. Each one of us has a credible badge up for grabs. So make sure, you sign up for those things as well. The program is coming up in August, featuring one particular very cool labs, build an AI-powered F1 analytics agent with McLaren Racing. So if you're a developer and an F1 fan, you're going to love that one. Right? So you can check out all these opportunity and much more from the resources tab located at the top of your screen.
So that's a wrap. It's been a massive 2 days, and we're so grateful you choose to take the time to grow your skill alongside with this community.
Absolutely, right? And thank you, a huge thank you to all our expert speaker and the team working behind the scene to make sure this additional Cloud Technical Series is possible. Before you log off though, please take a final moment to share your thoughts in the feedback survey. It's just on the right of your screen, right? Your input is how we keep this program sharp and relevant for people like you.
Thank you again from all of us. We hope you walk away with confidence in your agentic AI skills. Keep experimenting and pushing the boundary of what you can achieve by building this full AI stack.
We will see you at the next one.
Goodbye everyone.